Hello, what's going on? Welcome back to Concept Car Corner, where we talk about crazy cool cars. So today I have a bit of an oldie, but certainly a goodie. Today's crazy cool car is the 1927 Bugatti Type 35. Wow. Very blown away by this vehicle here. Now we are talking 1927, right? So not very modern, but we're looking at it more so from its racing pedigree to its makeup. So without further ado, let's get started. The Bugatti Type 35 is a race car that saw many victories on the track and was very modern in its day with its mechanical and technical build quality. The Bugatti Type 35 has a few different model variants, such as the Type 35 itself, the Type 35A, Type 35B, the Type 35C, and the Type 35T. What's interesting about all these different variants was the fact that they were made for specific different drivers or races in which the Type 35 entered into and raced. The first Type 35 to be introduced is the Type 35 itself, the original model. The first Type 35 model was introduced in 1924. It was powered by a 3-valve, 2-liter overhead cam, straight 8 engine, and had 5 main bearings and produced about 75 horsepower. This motor, found in the Type 35, was the motor used in the Type 29 and was capable of reaching 6,000 RPM to drive those 8 pistons all within a 2.0-liter package, all mounted to a wet multi-clutch plate system. This allowed the Type 35 to reach speeds up to 190 kilometers per hour, or equal to 118 miles per hour. Wow, that's pretty fast. In 1927, wow. 5 Type 35s were entered into the 1924 French Grand Prix in Lyon with little success. It did very well in practice runs, but unfortunately could not keep up with the competition. With something as small as a change of tires, the Type 35 was entered into the next race at San Sebastian, where the Type 35 managed second place. So nothing mechanically or technically was wrong with the car, but simply changing the tires went from a loss into second place. That's pretty incredible to say about the build quality of such a vehicle in 1927. The next Type 35 model was the Type 35 Model A, which was produced in 1925, which received a few different adjustments from the original Type 35. The Type 35A, nicknamed Tekla after a famous imitation jewelry maker, was ignored by the public, who gave the Type 35A its nickname. The 35A was more of a basic model from its original ancestor, the Type 35. The Type 35A Tekla used 3 plain bearings, smaller valves, and a coil ignition like in the Type 30. While this decreased maintenance requirements for the Tekla, these certain downgrades also reduced the output of the Type 35A, and only 139 units of Type 35A were sold. Next is the Type 35T, which appeared in 1926. The Type 35T was a special model that was designed specifically for the Targa Florio race, and later, because of it being specifically made for the Targa Florio, it became known as the Type 35 Targa Florio. The Type 35 Targa Florio came with a bump in liters from a 2.0 liter to a 2.3 liter with a 100 millimeter longer piston stroke. At that time, the Grand Prix rules had changed, limiting the liter capacity of each vehicle entered into the race to 2.0 liters. This, of course, limited this model's appeal, with only 13 models produced when these new regulations came and passed. Wow, that's kind of sad too. They were looking to take it a step further, give it a couple more pieces of literage there, and unfortunately, the rules changed. The Type 35C is next in the Type 35 lineup. The Type 35C featured a supercharger, a root-style supercharger, with an output of nearly 128 horsepower. Though Mr. Ettore Bugatti had a disdain for forced induction, it was entered into the 1928 French Grand Prix at St. Gaudens and claimed victory, taking first place, and won the Grand Prix at Paul in 1930. 50 Type 35Cs were produced overall. The final version of the Type 35 was the Type 35B of 1927. Originally named the Type TC, the Type 35TC, it shared the same 2.3-liter engine that was found in the Type 35 Targa Florio, as well as an addition of a root-style supercharger like the Type 35C. The output of the Type 35B was a whopping 138 horsepower, the most powerful of all the Type 35 variants. And with the Type 35B, it won the 1929 French Grand Prix at Le Mans, and only 45 examples of the Type 35B were produced. Overall, the Bugatti Type 35 model and all its different variants claimed over 2,000 victories between 1924 and 1930. Wow, that's impressive. The Type 35 was a hugely successful racing car that had very modern design and engineering for its time, and proved its capability and became legendary within international motorsport today. Wow, quite an incredible vehicle for sure. 2,000 victories? Whoa! In just what, 6 years? 1924 to 1930? That is truly, truly impressive, which only shows the genius of Mr. Ettore Bugatti for sure, creating such a vehicle. And then just to note a little bit from earlier, with the loss at the first Type 35 original model, right? They brought it back, simply changed the tires, and then went back to San Sebastian and managed a second place. Wow. Simply from changing the tires, that's incredible. And that also shows they didn't even have to touch any of the mechanicals or the technical aspects of the vehicle, but just the switch of the tires. Granted, close to a podium. I don't know, that's pretty incredible to me. This is quite a legendary vehicle for sure. I would love to drive one or own one day. Either way, I'm gonna figure it out. But, you know, let me know, what do you think about the Bugatti Type 35? Very cool racing car from a good minute ago for sure. Still very, very impressive to hear about its accomplishments today by a truly genius designer and engineer. So that's pretty much it. That's all I have for this Concept Car Corner. Thank you all for watching, and peace.